my water.
Okay, Abby, thank you for joining me this evening. I've been looking forward to the chance to sit down and get to know you a little better. Just a couple things I need to review before we begin in earnest. Uh, we need you to attest to this being a class assignment, recognizing that this is not a counseling session at all, although it is being recorded for the sake of it serving as a class assignment to be submitted for our assessment and appraisal class. And lastly, I did just want to absolutely confirm that we're being recorded for the half hour that we'll be meeting tonight.
Yes, and I'm putting on a persona.
Excellent. Thank you for bringing that persona to the forum here. Okay, very good. So, as far as the introduction here, I'm going to be conducting a series of questions. It's a format type interview that professionals in my position use to get to know clients from the jump. We get to zero in on where you think, where we get the chance to identify where you stand to benefit most. And if anything, this is my way of at least serving immediate regard in terms of some of the themes we're going to be discussing. Um, you'll see me taking notes. That is not so typical, I assure you, though for now it helps me keep track of all of the information that you and I are going to review. Um, that being said, however much detail to the questions we'll explore is very helpful, though you do not need to answer anything you don't necessarily wish to. There's full respect for that in this space.
Okay.
Thank you. If we're ready to begin, I guess a good place to ask is over the year, what would you say are the most significant changes that have taken place in your life?
I would say that I'm finishing up a school program, and I've been interning at a job, and I'm starting a new job. It's probably the biggest change. Also, my youngest moved out of the house and moved in with one of their partners, so stuff has sort of changed at my house, as well as my switching from school to working full time. I passed a big test, so now I have a chance to start a new job. That's been great, but really stressful.
Do you mind me asking, are you speaking literally or figuratively when you say you passed a big test? It sounds like you've been performing a lot of time management and balance therein. So, did you mean there was a test that served for you to get the new position, or
I guess I didn't really think of it that way. I was speaking as of there was a really big test that I've been studying for and that I have been working towards. But now that you put it that way, yeah, I guess both literally and figuratively.
it's good? It's good to clarify. Thank you.
Mhm.
Would you say that the new position is reflective of your strengths, or you're going to get to apply the strength that you carry about yourself?
Yeah, this is a goal that I have been thinking about working towards since for as long as I can remember, and never really had the opportunity to. And so it was something that well, I guess I can just share that 5 years ago we made a really big move across. We were living in Iowa and we moved out here to be closer to family, and I never really thought about being able to pursue this dream that I've had since I was a little kid. But I decided a couple of years ago to attempt it, and I did. So
It sounds like that feels terrific for you.
yeah, it's really exciting, but also really scary because it's going into a field that and also self-employment, which is exciting, but it's sort of like this pressure on my shoulders to this place that I was interning. The person there is retiring and hopes to sell his business to me, which is really exciting, but also it's kind of scary.
Did you have a sense that that was a consideration so far as the business owner?
Yeah.
So
When
these
I
were
started,
conversations building up to the moment.
yeah, yeah, we've been talking about it, and they're still a couple of years away from retiring, so I'm still going to be able to work there and like learn from them, and that's going to be great. But it's a really big, considering what age I am, it's a really big like undertaking to take on at this point in our lives. But it's really exciting, but scary.
It's good to hear how exciting it is for, all this time building up to the moment when it seems that you're going to be able to basically take these accomplishments so far and apply them towards a new professional adventure.
Yeah.
So this is a good place to continue on, it sounds like. How is your mental health today? How are you holding up amidst all of these changes, however promising they are?
Um, it's it's been it's been good. I found myself I don't know. People tell me that I'm an anxious person, uh, mainly my kids, but they're you know teenagers and can be snarky. They tell me I worry too much. Um, uh, they my mental health. Well, let's see. I've been really stressed out about passing this test, and I just found out that I recently passed it, so that's really exciting. Um, the
When did you
job
find out that
itself,
you passed the test?
I took and passed the test yesterday, so this is
Congratulations. Wow.
brand new. And it's just been such a relief because I've just been studying so hard and I've been so anxious. And also, as I'm interning there, like they're giving me more and more responsibility. Like they leave to go on vacation and I'm left in charge. And I'm realizing that this is a profession. I'll just share with you. I passed the test to become a funeral director, and that has been my dream ever since I was a little kid. And my family really encouraged me to pursue this. And I'm realizing more now that I'm taking on more and more responsibility, that like it can be, while I love it, it can be really stressful to interact that often with people who are really in deep grief. And so that I'm realizing that that maybe is helpful for me to come and have some help dealing with that so I don't go through any burnout.
You said your family encouraged you quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's always been my perception that facilitating funeral homes, directing, if you will, are usually kind of like family inherent businesses.
Yeah. They
Huh.
usually are. I'm an outsider. In Vermont, there's a big push of local like schools because a lot of the funeral directors here are old men, and these businesses have been passed down from families to families, and a lot of them have been bought up by corporations. But in Vermont, that's not really what people are interested in. So I found an opportunity. I was looking more into it, and I found an opportunity, and I took it, and I got interning at this place that they don't have a family member that they want to pass it to. So they've been looking for someone to come in and love the business as much as they do and take over. So
Well, what a degree of personal respect. I'm looking forward to talking to you more about that. Currently speaking, it sounds like things are going well. You have this wave of relief about yourself in terms of having passed your test. Um, would you say there have been any significant changes to your mental health in the past year? I know this is a moment of triumph you are amidst, but over the last year, have there been any significant changes you could describe for me?
yeah, I've definitely felt a lot more anxious. I've always had a little bit of problem sleeping, but now, like, I lay down to go to bed, and my mind just starts racing. And like afterwards, like the next day, I can realize, like, oh, those were really unreasonable thoughts. But when I lay down at night, my brain just spins with um, what's like the worst possible thing that could happen to a list of people that I care about, and that's really it's it's been a lot.
It sounds like the anxiety is leading your thoughts to leap towards maybe like worst possible outcomes.
Yeah. And I think like and I know like that's been a thing, but really I think like going forward, like I've worked so hard for this job and this opportunity, and I really want to be able to do it for a long time. And so really I'm here to maybe sort of have an outlet to share some of the stress of the job itself, and so I can make sure and not like burn out.
It almost sounds like a point of mindfulness that you're paying attention to about yourself. Good for you. That you're gauging your own anxiety now that you had been pre-test with all the buildup and studying the pressures, and now you're post-test. There's the relief of having passed.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Thank you. This is very helpful. I appreciate the time so far. Medically speaking, how is your physical health today?
It's good. It's good. No, nothing of note.
Okay, thank you. Are you getting enough rest in that case? You had mentioned that sometimes your anxiety will
I
kind of
sleep very
in your thought.
little.
You sleep very little.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind, can you give me a window maybe or an example of maybe how much sleep you're getting per night?
Um, I start to try to go to bed around 10 o'clock. A lot of times it takes me almost an hour to fall asleep. And I can sleep for a couple of hours, but usually I'll pop awake at like 3 a.m. and just worry for another couple of hours before I give up and get up for the day.
The anxiety is very prevalent at night.
Hmm.
Would you say that's when it's at its worst, when it's bothering you the most?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
You had mentioned that you'll typically wake up around 3 o'clock. Do
Hmm.
you have a consistent sleep schedule, maybe like a sleep preparation routine that you adhere to?
Yeah, I've been trying really hard to, you know, exercise to make my body tired and try to, stop watching TV, and I put my phone down and I've noticed that I have to like read somewhere else, and that sort of calms me down and makes me tired, and then I can move into my bed and try to fall asleep.
These
But
all sound, yeah, sorry.
if I read or I do something in bed, then forget about it. I just can't fall asleep. Like I'll just stay awake for hours reading.
These all sound like excellent strategies.
I try.
It sounds like you try very hard.
Yeah.
Does sleep ever catch up with you, so to speak? Is there ever a day, like aside from all these routines or practices you're maintaining, do you ever just get home from work sometimes, just need to crash for the sake of your body telling you so?
Not usually. No, I'm not a good napper. Um, every once in a while. Every once in a while, if I'm like on vacation or something, I can maybe be so tired that I fall asleep. But I'm a pretty light sleeper, so like any noises or any distractions wake me right up.
Hmm. And your sleep is already very, very faint already. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So there have been no changes necessarily to your diet, your eating schedule, your appetite. You're
No.
at a moment again of success. It sounds like the anxiety is affecting you in more ways than one, and that's maybe the overarching issue so far as how we're going to begin to figure out how to help. Excellent. Thank you again. I'm going to ask the next set of questions in regards to just, your personal living circumstances.
Mhm.
Where do you live? You had mentioned you moved from Iowa several years ago, 5 years ago.
Yep. I live in a small town in southern Vermont called Athens.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's really different. We lived in a city called Des Moines, and I lived two doors down from my parents for like while we were raising the kids, 14 to 15 years, and then we moved out here during the pandemic. Now I live in a town of about 400 people, so it's really
400 people.
a major difference. But it was nice to move close to our family out here.
You were raised in Iowa. You said you moved
Mhm.
closer to family.
Yeah, I was born and raised out here. I was born and raised in Iowa. My husband's family is has lived out here for the last 30 years. So we moved out here to be closer with them.
And you had mentioned children.
Yes. I
They think you worry too much.
have, yes. They call me Smother Mother.
Any significant changes so far as like your living situation or your household makeup over the last year?
Um, we've lived in this house for about 4 years. My youngest recently, they moved out about a year ago. They moved in with their girlfriend. So I don't see them as much as I would like to. But
Are they living
my
reasonably close by another town in?
about 30, 35 minutes, but
Okay,
they're in school themselves and they're really busy and they're working and I'm so proud of them, but I miss seeing them all the time.
sure. It's an adjustment in itself. You know,
Yeah.
your oldest has
And
moved on.
my oldest, he lives with us still. He works for my husband's company. But I'm so excited because we were really worried about him because he didn't really have a lot of friends here. We moved here in the middle of his senior year and the beginning of his senior year, and it was really hard. But we're sort of pushing him to like go out and make friends, and I'm really excited that he has. But it also means that I don't see him as much, and that makes me really sad too. Because when I do see him, I just want to like spend time with him, and he's like. uh,
It's an excellent point from a mother's perspective. That sounds very unique in terms of your role. Do you mind if I offer an observation?
sure.
That sounds like another moment of transition, a period of transition that you're working to balance when you describe it as such.
Yeah, I guess yeah. I guess I didn't see it like that, but yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm looking forward to exploring that further as well. My next set of questions is regarding personal relationships. You live with your husband. Your husband's
Mhm.
from Vermont. You've been in the same house for a few years now. And while the household is undergoing some transitions, you seem happy in Vermont.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband's always kind of worried that I wanna move back because I miss my family, um, but I'm really happy living out here and being surrounded by people that align with, like, politically, socially. I'm really close with I'm really close with a lot of his family, and I've made some really great friends here from, other jobs that I've had, so I'm really happy here. But I stress about my family that lives in Iowa. They have a lot of health issues, and so I spend a lot of time worried about them for sure.
They're important in your life. It sounds like you at least keep track of them as best you can with the
Well, yeah,
distance.
I talk to them all the time.
You talk to them all the time.
Mhm.
Would it be okay if I asked if there was anything prevalent so far as some of your family in Iowa's health conditions right now?
Yeah, my dad has struggled with he's struggled with a lot of health issues. He had um, he had a stroke about 10 years ago. Um, he had seizures due to narcolepsy, and he had a stroke, and then he had surgery, and there were complications from that surgery, and so it really changed the dynamic between my parents, and he's just had a lot come up. My older brother, he he really struggles. He struggles with his weight. My A lot of my family, they've all had bypass surgery and struggling with their weight. I'm the only one in my family who hasn't, besides my younger brother. Both my parents and my older brother did. And my mom's relatively healthy, but my dad and my older brother really worry me. My older brother didn't really control his type 2 diabetes, and I've actually gone out there a couple of times this year because he's had surgery and he had to have part of his lower leg amputated because of it, and that's been really stressful for his wife and kids. And so I've tried to be there for them as well, and I'm just kind of always worried about my dad and like how that stress is affecting my mom. So
Sure. To run this back, there are a couple prevalent conditions you described, generationally speaking. I just want to make sure I have the information correct.
mm-hmm.
You said that your father had sustained the stroke on account of issues connected to the narcolepsy, and that was about 10 years ago. Your
Mm-hmm.
older brother struggles with weight, whereas a number of individuals on both sides of your family have sustained and undergone bypass surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
And your older brother, regarding management of his diabetes, also had to commit to a leg amputation.
Yeah, both of my dad and my brother had bypass surgery, but they gained all the weight back and have had complications since because of it. So
Abby, it sounds like you think about your family a great deal.
they're everything to me. So I spend a lot of time thinking about and worrying about the people I love. So
These must be the kinds of thoughts that you're experiencing when it's 3 in the morning. And once again, you're working on that sleep of yours that you're not getting.
yeah,
Yeah. It's a nice reflection, maybe, of the type of family member that you're serving for in regards to being there for them where you can be, despite your own immediate family's transition since 5 years ago. But, honestly, maybe it's important to remind yourself of that.
yeah. I think I feel a lot of guilt for moving away from them, and both of my brothers tried to give me a hard time because I lived two doors down from my parents, so I really have always been there to help take care of them. And both my brothers live kind of far away, not far. I mean, not Vermont, but they live, an hour to 2 hours away, and so they like to harass me for moving away and abandoning my family, and that's really hard. But I just got to a place where I had to choose what was best for me and my immediate family, and that's what this move was. But I still try to be there as much as I can for my family in Iowa, for sure.
That is wholly understood. Again, if you don't mind me clarifying, you'd said they like to harass you. Are you
Yeah.
saying that resignedly because they are harassing you truly, or are they more
My
like
brother that
chiding?
my brother texts me and says, like, or he'll call me and say, "I can't believe you abandoned the family. Like, how could you do that?" Um, yeah, he's my younger brother. He's really struggling.
Your younger brother was the one who had the leg amputated?
Oh, sorry, that was my older brother.
I'm
My
sorry.
younger brother, he lives by himself. He just got a puppy that he's really excited about, but he has struggles maybe with some substance issues, and so when he's drinking heavily, he'll call me and leave me long messages about how he can't believe I abandoned the family, and he gets really frustrated that I moved away.
It sounds like you connect that behavior and those types of accusations to his alcohol consumption.
Yeah.
So you're able to differentiate it.
Yeah, yeah. He really only does that like when he's drinking.
Hmm. You sound like you're used to it. At the same time, you still sound like it still bothers you too.
My younger brother's kind of always been that way, and so I kind of expect it from him, but, I know that my family really relies heavily on me, and so I do feel guilty for moving away. I'm glad that I did, but I carry a lot of that guilt.
Thank you for clarifying all this, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
Um, just one last question while we're talking about the nature of your father's narcolepsy.
Mhm.
Do you mind me asking again, have you ever considered seeking screening for narcolepsy for yourself with all of the sleep issues you've portrayed? Or do you think it's more just circumstantially related?
That's never something that, I had considered. No.
Okay. With your permission, I'd like to make sure we parking lot that, and
Yeah.
we are very careful to include some kind of maybe sleep assessment, quality of
Yeah.
sleep assessment in your treatment planning we'll be assembling.
Mhm.
Thank you. If anything, you're maintaining some positive routines for yourself. You enjoy the activities you commit to, and you're succeeding at work regarding the course of your days. Um, what do your typical daily routines reflect? What do they include on an like average day?
I like to get up. Well, like to get up. Really, I'm awake, so I might as well get up. I get up really early, and I always try to do something active, whether it's taking the dog for a hike or a walk. I like to cook breakfast for everyone before they leave the house for the day. Um, I recently have been like doing schoolwork because I've been trying to get that done. So I'll figure out what to do with my free time now. And then I work quite a bit. I really love to cook, so I always cook a full meal when I get home, and then I either hang out with family members. If my husband's home, I'll hang out with him. But yeah, I love basketball. I watch a lot of basketball because that's kind of an average work day.
Thank you. That helps portray the routines I was asking about. I appreciate that. Abby, I'm noticing that we're close to the completion of our time. Uh, I guess I wanted to ask just another quick question in terms of again the composition of your day versus all that there is to account for.
Mhm.
What you're telling me is that the most prevalent issue that we can begin to work on is involving anxiety. Anxiety seems to be affecting your sleep on a very consistent basis. And with consideration to some of the stressors, some of the themes of your medical history, and this ongoing transition on top of transition period that you are amidst, I think we've got some solid grounds for a treatment plan.
Yeah, I think that I mainly came with the issue of like I want to make sure that the stress of this new job and sort of the sort of navigating dealing with um, like I know that I worry a lot, but my main mission with coming to therapy is to make sure that I have an outlet for maybe stressors that come on because of this job.
I'm so glad you brought that up in terms of seeking an outlet that you can rely on for yourself, because my last question was actually going to be regarding self-care, regarding, routines between your average day, what you enjoy. Do you feel you are at least taking the time to consider how you're spending your time for yourself, therapeutically speaking?
I try. I think that's like what I do early in the morning, like going for a hike with with the dog, or sometimes we got a hot tub this last year, so I try to like go and sit in the hot tub to unwind. But yeah, I mean, I try. I have a lot going on, and I have a lot of responsibilities, and it's more important that my family's taken care of first.
Yeah.
Um,
listen, let's recognize that. Let's hold that as a strength, and let's also make sure that we appreciate you have a very strong sense of self. And some of the insights versus the connections we've been able to establish here, it's going to make for all the more thorough, all the more beneficial of a treatment plan.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to make sure that we review so far as your experience here?
I don't think so. I think we've covered it.
Okay, terrific. In that case, Abby, I'm looking forward to beginning our routines. And we completed our 30-minute session here right on time. Thank you again. I'm going to pause now.